The global trade war has a new battleground: automobiles. This sector, which has long been a symbol of industrial prowess and economic strength, is now at the heart of a fierce international conflict. On April 2, 2025, the Trump administration imposed a 25% tariff on all imported cars. This decision was not made lightly and came after months of deliberation and intense lobbying from various industry stakeholders. This aggressive move sent shockwaves through the global economy. Stock markets reacted almost immediately, with shares of major automotive companies plummeting. Economists around the world began to speculate on the long-term impacts of such a drastic measure. It marked a significant escalation in President Trump's protectionist trade agenda. During a press conference, President Trump stated that the tariffs were a necessary step to ensure the survival and growth of American industries. The administration argues that these tariffs are necessary. They believe that by imposing these tariffs, they can level the playing field for American manufacturers who have been struggling to compete with cheaper foreign imports. They say it will protect American jobs and revitalize domestic manufacturing. The hope is that these measures will lead to a resurgence in American car production, creating thousands of new jobs and boosting the economy. However, critics argue that these tariffs will harm American consumers. They point out that the increased costs of imported cars will inevitably be passed on to consumers, leading to higher prices at the dealership. They will face higher prices for cars. This could lead to a decrease in car sales, as consumers may delay purchasing new vehicles or opt for cheaper used cars instead. This new tariff is only the latest salvo in an ongoing trade war. Trade negotiations have become increasingly tense, with countries retaliating with their own tariffs and trade barriers. It began shortly after President Trump took office in 2017. His administration quickly moved to impose tariffs on a wide range of goods, targeting countries like China, Mexico, Canada, and the European Union. He imposed tariffs on goods from China, Mexico, Canada, and the European Union. These actions were justified as necessary to protect American industries and reduce the trade deficit. These actions have disrupted global supply chains and led to higher prices for consumers worldwide. The interconnected nature of modern economies means that tariffs in one sector can have ripple effects across many others. The impact of this new tariff on the automotive industry remains to be seen. Industry experts are divided on whether it will lead to a renaissance in American car manufacturing or further strain an already struggling sector. However, one thing is certain: the global trade war is far from over. As countries continue to navigate this complex and ever-changing landscape, the future of international trade remains uncertain. To understand the current situation, we need to look back at the Trump administration's trade policies. These policies have had a profound impact on both the American economy and the global trade environment. Since taking office, President Trump has championed an America First agenda. This agenda was designed to prioritize American interests above all else, aiming to bring jobs back to the United States and reduce the trade deficit. This agenda prioritizes American economic interests, often at the expense of global trade relationships. The administration believed that by focusing on domestic growth, they could revitalize American industries and create a more robust economy. His administration has imposed tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods from various countries. These tariffs were intended to protect American industries from what the administration viewed as unfair foreign competition. These tariffs have been met with retaliatory measures. Countries affected by the tariffs responded by imposing their own tariffs on American goods, leading to a cycle of retaliation. This has resulted in a tit-for-tat trade war that has rattled global markets and strained international relations. The uncertainty created by these trade disputes has had a significant impact on global economic stability. The administration argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries from unfair foreign competition. They believe that by imposing tariffs, they can encourage companies to keep their manufacturing operations within the United States. They claim that these measures are leveling the playing field. By making foreign goods more expensive, the administration hoped to make American products more competitive both domestically and internationally. However, critics argue that these tariffs are counterproductive. They point out that the increased costs of imported goods can lead to higher prices for consumers and increased costs for American businesses that rely on foreign materials. They say these tariffs harm American businesses and consumers while also damaging the global economy. The increased costs can lead to reduced consumer spending and lower profits for businesses, potentially leading to job losses. The long-term consequences of President Trump's trade policies remain to be seen. While some industries may benefit from the protectionist measures, others may suffer from the increased costs and reduced access to foreign markets. However, his aggressive approach has undoubtedly left its mark on the global trade landscape. The shift towards protectionism has prompted other countries to reconsider their own trade policies and strategies. It has ushered in an era of uncertainty and instability. Businesses and investors are now navigating a more unpredictable trade environment, with potential long-term implications for global economic growth and cooperation. The relationship between Canada and the United States has always been strong. The two countries share a long border and deep economic ties. However, the Trump administration's trade policies have put a significant strain on this vital relationship. The new 25% tariff on imported cars is just the latest point of contention. Canada is a major exporter of automobiles to the United States. This tariff could have a devastating impact on the Canadian auto industry. Beyond the immediate economic impact, this tariff has also damaged the political relationship between the two countries. Canadian officials have condemned the tariffs as unfair and harmful to the Canadian economy. They have vowed to take retaliatory measures. This trade dispute comes at a time when the global order is already in flux. The rise of populism and nationalism has strained traditional alliances. The Canada-US relationship is no exception. Canada has not stood idly by in the face of US tariffs. The imposition of these tariffs by the United States has sparked a significant response from the Canadian government, which has taken a firm stance to protect its economic interests. The Canadian government has responded with retaliatory tariffs of its own. These measures are not just symbolic, they are carefully calculated to have a tangible impact on the US economy. These tariffs target a range of American goods, from agricultural products to manufactured items. The goal is to hit key industries that are vital to the US economy. They are designed to apply pressure on key sectors of the US economy. By targeting these areas, Canada aims to create a ripple effect that will encourage the US to reconsider its tariff policies. Beyond these tariffs, many Canadians have shown their displeasure through consumer boycotts. This grassroots movement has gained significant traction, with many Canadians opting to support local businesses instead. They are choosing not to buy American products, a decision that reflects a broader sense of national solidarity and economic patriotism. This grassroots movement reflects a growing sense of frustration and resentment towards the Trump administration's policies. Social media has played a crucial role in amplifying these sentiments, with many Canadians voicing their opinions online. These actions demonstrate that Canada is prepared to defend its economic interests. The government has been proactive in its approach, engaging in extensive discussions and strategic planning to counteract the impact of US tariffs. They are also willing to stand up to what it perceives as unfair trade practices. This stance is not just about immediate economic concerns, but also about setting a precedent for future trade relations. The Canadian government has also been actively seeking out new trading partners. By diversifying its trade relationships, Canada aims to reduce its economic dependence on the United States. They want to diversify their economic relationships and reduce their reliance on the United States. This strategy involves forging new alliances and strengthening existing ones with countries around the world. This multi-pronged approach highlights Canada's determination to navigate the turbulent waters of the global trade war. The government is committed to ensuring that the Canadian economy remains robust and resilient. They want to emerge from this challenging period with a more resilient and independent economy. By taking these steps, Canada is positioning itself to not only withstand current challenges, but also to thrive in a rapidly changing global economic landscape.